Okay, crunchy peanut butter or smooth?
Smooth.
All right. Favorite song to sing in the shower?
I don't sing in the shower.
None. Okay. All right, fair. What's the most important part of your routine?
Um, Most important part of my routine. Getting up early
Good, good. Yeah, that I think that goes with the trades. You have to do that. What's the last time you tried something new for the first time?
every day. I think
Every day. Good. I love it. All right. All right. I think you're ready for the lightning round. You're a champ. All right. If you could have a billboard, what would it say?
mm, a billboard. So I would go back to probably something I threw out earlier, and it would be related to real estate since that's your audience. But financial returns are supported by on-site operations, and on-site operations are supported by the people who work there.
So it would be a billboard for entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
What's the greatest lesson in leadership you've learned as an entrepreneur?
great. You have to give your team the opportunity to advance and grow within their position, even if it means that you risk promoting people to the point of incompetence. So if you have a great leasing professional and you need to give them the shot to be a property manager, but you risk losing a great professional because they might not be a great property manager, you need to build an organization that helps them succeed in that because I believe the majority of people want opportunity and want growth.
Of developing people, always important. Okay, one more whimsical question here. This will be a totally random question. Tell me when to stop cutting the deck.
All right, stop.
All right, top question. If you didn't have to worry about money, what would you do with your life?
2008, which is probably the best time that any of us will ever see. That's purely luck that that happened. I did my first 8 years without any investors. And so I built up a sizable portfolio for 8 years without any investors and exited all of that prior to going into the syndication model. And so I'm a pretty modest guy. I live a humble life that I don't require much. And so I actually feel like I have reached that point. So I don't need any more money, but I enjoy the game of business. I enjoy the challenges, and building something is fun to me. It's like the combination of art and finance is a passion of mine. And so I would probably live a life very similar to what I live now because I feel like I may have already reached that point, at least for the living the way of life that I enjoy.
Love it. The game of business. I know you've given us a lot of tips and tricks today. Do you have one more tip or trick that investors can implement in their business today?
I mean, there's lots of small things that we do to help us be more efficient, but the tip and trick I'd say is like, in my experience, there isn't one, right? Like hard work still is the linchpin of success. And so consistency, doing the same thing. If you heard our story, what we're doing today is not a different business model than what we did 16 years ago. It's just slightly larger in scale. But what we do is we buy distress, we force appreciation, we strip that equity that we forced through a debt restructure, and then we move that equity into the next deal that produces more cash flow. And so the tip and the trick is one that I don't think is secret, but it is simple but not easy, and it's just staying the course and being consistent over a very long period of time, and most successful people pull that off.
Well, I think in this ADD world, consistency may be the trick of the day. Can you name a book that's helped to forge you as a leader or as an entrepreneur and tell us why?
So I think if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't show up every day as your best. And so I'm very I'd say behind real estate, health and wellness is probably the topic that I study and self-educate on most. And there's a book that's pretty in depth, but it's called Outlive by Peter Attia. And I enjoyed that book to help take care of myself from a physical standpoint. And that allows me to show up as my best as a husband, father, business owner, leader in all aspects.
Beautiful. And can you send us out with a quote to help forge our listeners as leaders and entrepreneurs?
I mean, the one that pops into my head is one I've already said, and it's just one I remind myself of every day, is that the financial returns are supported by operations, but operations are supported by the people who work there. And we just get so lost in these podcasts about someone sharing, financial returns and the shiny object that they had success in, and people jump into real estate chasing those returns. And I think it's just so important that we focus on the foundation of what produced those returns. And so I'd go back to that same quote.
I want to thank you so much, Jered, because as a podcast that's focused on, or mainly for investors, but which focuses on entrepreneurship, I think you've really driven home the point more than many of my recent guests, that it's really a business, what you're doing here. If you don't focus on operations, then you really aren't doing right by yourself or for your investors. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share your knowledge and experience with our audience. One last thing, just want to make sure everybody can reach out to you. So if somebody needs to get in contact with Jered Sturm, website, email, carrier pigeon, smoke signal, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, we'll skip the smoke signal, but website is snscapitalgroup.com, and I'm sure you'll throw that in the show notes for spelling.
Yep, you got
But
it.
there's a contact us on there, and those contacts will come to me, and I'll look forward to helping anyone I can.
All right, great. So I think that the message here is, if you want to reach out to Jered, technology is the way to do that. And thank you so much for coming on our show today.
Yeah, George, thanks for your time. I'm grateful to be here.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.